All right, now we're in Battery Park. This is one of the oldest areas in New York City. It's named after the artillery battery, excuse me, that once defended New York City. And just give you a roundabout view of where we are. That way is Governor's Island. That way is New Jersey. Right behind me we have Ellis Island, the Statue of Liberty, Castle Clinton is right here, and Staten Island is kind of on my far right. So we got a lot going on in this area. Well, let's talk about Castle Clinton because this has been here for quite a while. And originally it was built to defend New York City. It was named after Mayor DeWitt Castle, who was the mayor in the early 1800s. And it was finished in 1811, which was in perfect time for the War of 1812 for it to be used. But after it was used for that, it was actually our first immigration depot, way before Ellis Island. Now, it was used until 1892 for immigration, and then after that it's been used for everything from a theater to a special events. And now is where you can buy your tickets to the ferry to Ellis Island and the Statue of Liberty. Now let's move on to the iconic symbol behind me, Lady Liberty over there. Well, her actual name is Liberty Enlightening the World, and the Statue of Liberty was dedicated in 1886. And when she was dedicated, they threw the very first ticker tape parade down Broadway in New York City. Now, ticker tape parade became famous after that for special events. And when we walk down Broadway later on, you're going to see names in the streets, and those are all the reasons that they threw other ticker tape parades. Now they'll do it for the Yankees win the World Series. They'll throw one then too. A great event in New York City. But so Lady Liberty sits there. She is a gift from France, and she is on an 89-foot pedestal and is 151 feet high. Originally made in all copper, but the skeletal structure inside was made by a name of Gustave Eiffel. Now that name may sound familiar because he also made that big famous structure in Paris, which everybody goes to see once in their lifetime at least. So now she's this nice mint green color, and that only took about 20 years for the whole statue to be oxidized. She holds a tablet that reads 1776 as homage to our Declaration of Independence. And on the bottom of the pedestal is a very famous poem called the New Colossus that welcomed immigrants in. That was put there in 1903 by a very famous poet named Emma Lazarus wrote that. But unfortunately, she passed away before she was ever able to see it being put there. So now immigrants used to come to the country and see, the first sight was this big copper statue. It must have been an amazing sight. And after the immigration depot was not at Castle Clinton, when the federal government took over, they moved it to Ellis Island. So they would come through Ellis Island, and they say to this day that 40% of all Americans can trace their ancestry back to at least one person coming through Ellis Island. Ellis Island processed 12 million immigrants in the time that it was open until it was closed in 1954. And in that time when an immigrant would arrive, they would be asked 29 questions. Everything from their name, their age, their country they're coming from. And one of the questions was how much money they have on them. Now, the federal government decided that for some reason, the amount between $18 and $25 in the equivalency of their money is the right amount to be let into the country. They were also had a 30-second assessment of their mental condition. And in that 30 seconds, they were deemed mentally fit. They were able to come right in. If not, they were chalked some kind of marking on their lapel. Many immigrants just simply rub the chalk off or turn their jackets inside out so they could be let through the country. But unfortunately, Ellis Island was also dubbed Heartbreak Island because 2% of the immigrants that came through were turned around and shipped back home on their long journey back. Quite sad. But now you can visit Ellis Island and Liberty Island, and you can look up your immigrants. They have a computer system. So now we're going to move on to a bar. Are you ready for that? Let's go.